In this video, I'm going to help you set up a form inside of GoHighLevel. Now, if you have not got GoHighLevel, I will leave a 30-day free trial linked in the description down below if you want to try out GoHighLevel. So let's get started. So once you've signed up, you should be brought over to your dashboard like this. Once you are here, what you can do is you can come over here to the sites, select that. Inside of sites, what we're going to want to do is actually select on forms up here, and then form builder. And inside of here, for you, this should be empty if you have not set one up already. And if it is empty, you should have a blue button like this button up here in the center of your screen, and it should say add form. So we're going to select that right now. And inside of here, we can now start from scratch or from a template. Now, if you want to start from scratch, you can do that. It's not too difficult to actually navigate around. But if you're just starting, I recommend using a template as it makes stuff a lot faster and makes it a lot easier to set up our own form inside of GoHighLevel. Now I'm going to select from templates here, select that and click on continue. Inside of here, we can now actually select a template that we'd like to use. So as you can see, we've got loads in here. We can keep scrolling down and see all the other templates that we've got down here. But for me, I'm going to keep it simple and I'm just going to use this one just here, the first one, and select that. And now from here, we can click on continue up in the corner. Now we are inside of the editor. This is where we can edit our form. Now we can add in a bunch more stuff. We don't just have to have our first name, email, phone, and your message. We can change it out to what we like. So you can select into these. We can delete them out by selecting this little X button just up here. We can do that to every single one. We can also get rid of this text up here as well by selecting into here. So if you want to change it out, just highlight it. We can get rid of some of this text. And we can add in something like add your email to get 10% off. So if we're doing like a discount, we can add this in here. Now you can do whatever you want. You don't have to add in your email. You can add in your details. We can also put this something else like join our email blog or receive weekly updates from us. You can do all sorts. You don't have to add in just add your email address to get 10% off. We can do whatever we want. We can also resize this as well. If we come over to the side here, we can simply just resize this down. So it's a little bit big right now. So if I do something like 25, I think that's quite good. We're also going to want to change the color as well. I might just change it to black. So move that down into the black. We can also add a bold onto the text as well by selecting this button just here. Also, I'm changing some of the caps as well. So I'm going to just come into here. We can edit some of this out. We can also change out the font as well if we want to do that from down here. So we can change the font if you don't like the font that it's already at. We can do a bunch more down here as well. But I think I'm going to leave that as is. I think that's okay. We can also change out the send button. If we want to do that, we can change out the background as well. We can change that to like a blue if we want to. Something like that looks alright. Maybe even put it to a green. I think green looks okay. Now we can change the send out to something like submit. Get your weekly updates. Anything you want, but I'm going to keep mine as send. I think that is okay. Now we do need to add in some details in here, like our first name. So what we can do is we come down here to the emolents. Now if you don't have the emolents tab up, you can click on the little plus button up here, select that. Now we've got the emolents here, so what we can do is we can drag in the first name. We can also drag in like a last name if you want to. So this is the full name, so I don't actually want that one in. I'm going to put in the first name. I'm also going to drag in, say, something like an email address. Now if you want to keep it simple, you can just keep it like this. Or if you want to add in extra stuff, you can do that as well by coming down here to addresses. You can add that in as well. Now I'm actually going to remove this one by clicking on the little X up here. And if you want to, we can keep coming down. We can add in even more stuff down here as well. We can add in a rating system. So we can have our rating in here, but I'm not going to add that in. I'm going to get rid of that. We can also come down. We can add in like an image as well if we want to. We can also do some more settings inside of these little sections just here. So what we can do is we can select in the first name here. We can also make this as a required field. So that means they have to put in a name in here. Now we can select that if we want to, or we don't have to. Now inside of the email, I recommend keeping this as required, as it's very important. Otherwise people don't have to put an email in here and it wouldn't work. So I would keep that required. Now we could add our logo to this as well. So we can scroll down, we can grab the image here, we can drag that in and add that there. Now we can choose file. And as you can see, we have got our logo in here. Now they're a little bit big, so I could make this a little bit smaller. So we could do something like 25, bit too small. I think a 75 looks okay. So we've got our logo in there now as well. Now if you want to change the background color as well, we can come up here to this little button, select that. Inside of here, we can simply scroll down until we see the colors and backgrounds, select that. Inside of here, we can change the color for the background. So we can put this as a white if we want to. We can put it to any color that we want. We can put it green. So I'm going to put mine as a white, as that does look a lot better. We can also do more layout options if we want to as well. So we could do something like that. If you really want to set it up, but I think the single column is pretty good, and I think this looks okay. So what we can do now is we can click on save. We can also preview this as well by clicking in this, and this will load up a preview, so we can add in our first name, our email, and click on send. Now this won't do anything at the moment. That is because we don't have a template like hooked to it. But if you want to know how to make a template, check out this video here on the screen. And if you want to get that 30-day free trial for GoHighLevel, check out the link in the description down below. But that is it for this video, and I'll see you in my next one.